but the content, the creation of content irrespective of the medium. So it has to be, I believe that content needs to be medium agnostic in many ways. Um, so for me, even though this might not be supported by most of the data, today the most powerful medium in Malta remains the radio. I believe a lot in radio. I believe radio is so personal. It is
Why?
so, it's, you know, you have imagination on radio. Just a voice can make you imagine being in places, conveying an atmosphere,
Hmm.
uh, giving ideas, being with you, whether it's in your car, whether it is, doing some chore during the day.
Many of us don't use the radio much anymore.
Yeah, sure. I Spotify a lot. Most of the
Exactly.
time, I to listen to music, I do Spotify. But the reality is that, especially mm, working people, whether it's in the factory floor, whether it's
Hmm.
in
Okay.
hotels and hospitals and other places, at one point in time when you are exposed to some things for a long period of time, you want something else than rather a long playlist. You need some interaction. That interaction comes from radio, and I think it is passive in a way. It's passive interaction because it's only a one-way street most of the time, and it's extremely powerful. People underestimate. I do, as yourself. I think you underestimate the
A
power,
lot.
a power of that
Of a
sort
voice, I think, of
of a
a
voice.
voice,
The
a live
power,
voice.
yeah, the power of a voice conveying a message. And really and truly, I do look at podcasts as a sort of reiteration of that concept. Why why do we do this? All right.
Why do we do this, you think?
I think it's to communicate, but I think, you know, if if you close your eyes and you don't watch what we're saying, the message is equally powerful. I would dare say almost more powerful.
When you're stating something and people are seeing your hand gestures, they're seeing your face, they're seeing even the posture when you're saying something. It could mean so many different things. So if I'm explaining angrily, but my voice sounds differently, they're gonna make it seem in a different way.
Actually, you're confirming my point because the voice on its own is even more powerful then, because the image exposes.
Hmm.
The voice, in many way, can conceal and can almost manipulate the feeling. So it becomes more powerful because you rarely can conceal things when people see you. While when you say something and just rely on a voice, you can imagine many things. The listener can imagine many things. So we're saying basically the same thing. I'm thinking it from another angle.
Perspective.
What you're saying is then matches on, say, the first presidential debate that was ever televised. That was back in the United States. It was between JFK and Nixon, and it was the first televised debate during the presidential elections in the States in the 60s. And usually those debates were only via radio. So Nixon he was an extremely communicative guy. Um, he he approached it as a radio debate. Went to the White House in the morning, shaved in the morning. It's actually documented, He shaved in the morning, went to crossed the lane from his residence to the White House, did the full days of work, rested a bit, went to the studios, did the broadcast with JFK. JFK spent the day at home,
Planning.
did nothing, shaved in the evening before the broadcast. And in the US at the time, it was already the time of opinion polls and the instant polls, the telephone polls, and it was an extremely interesting result. So whoever listened to the broadcast on radio, not whoever, but a large majority of those who listened to the broadcast on radio thought that Nixon did better than JFK. He handsomely beat JFK. Those who watched it on TV thought JFK won. And most of them it wasn't about the content, it was because, they would comment, he looked scruffy, the president looked scruffy, the other one was clean face, he looked fresher. So was it about the content? Probably yes, part of the content, but the image made the
voice. How am I going to explain this?
Yeah. Can you imagine how fascinating how this this sort of the fact that people were watching. So is the image more powerful? Probably yes, in one way, because it managed to divert that judgment. Is the voice more powerful? Another way you can say
You made me think
yes.
about this because it's very, in my eyes, since I do this, it's very strange for me to understand the situation. But if you think about it, it's. Hey, I'm Luca, and this is our clipping channel. On this channel, we're going to be sharing some of the best clips that come out of the conversations from our main channel, Champions Connect. If you want to see more clips understanding success, stories, experiences, subscribe. But if you want to see the full conversations and you want to learn the story and implement that into your life, subscribe to our main page, Champions Connect.